Hi everyone, it's your realtor friend Camille, North Carolina real estate broker. And in today's video, I am going to be sharing with you guys 10 things that you should know if you are looking to purchase a home that most buyers just don't know. So if you are considering purchasing a home, maybe this year, next year, or in the future, definitely stay tuned because you will want to take notes. All right. So if you are considering purchasing a home, I know you probably already have a real estate agent in mind, but these are some of the things that your real estate agent should be doing when they are working on your behalf, and just some things that they should be privy to and letting you know. If you don't have a real estate agent and you're going after the home buying process by yourself and alone, I highly wouldn't recommend that. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a real estate agent, but I truly would not recommend that because there are things that you may not be aware of or things that you may not think of when you're going through the process by yourself and alone. Don't be one of those people. First things first is one thing you will want to just double check is the proximity to the airport. If you are looking at a home and that home is located near an airport, that airport will be giving off a lot of gases, a lot of toxins to the air. A lot of homes that are close to the airport have been associated with negative effects to your health. You may be over the direct path of a airport pathway, and so you may experience noise. And if you're sensitive to that type of thing, or maybe you have issues with asthma or what have you, then living next to an airport or close to an airport may not be best suited for you. Not only that, when it comes to reselling your home, this is something that maybe the next buyer will think about, is just that close proximity to the airport and just the overall gases and toxins and all the environmental things that may come with living next to an airport. That is something that you will want to consider. The next thing that you may not think about is the proximity to floods, flood zone areas, ponds, lakes, rivers, oceans, whatever that may be. Some things are a little bit more obvious, but there are some areas, especially here in North Carolina, where you may be in close proximity to a lake, and that lake may be known to overflood, which will then put your property at risk for potentially being flooded. In addition to that, whoever your lender may be will require you to obtain flood insurance, which will increase your monthly and yearly payments that you have for your home. So that is something that you will want to consider. It's just the close proximity of that house to large bodies of water that have a history of flooding. And it's very easy if you live in the state of North Carolina to research that. So your agent should be doing that on your behalf prior to submitting an offer. It shouldn't take you, going under contract before they find out that that property is in a flood zone, because of how easy it is to search for that information. So you can look it up on your own. You can simply go to NC Flood Map, which I will try to link down in the description box. All you would do is type in the property address, and then you will be able to see if that property is in a flood zone. The other thing that you will want to catch is if that property is located near a grave site. A lot of times you may not know, especially if you are new to an area, how close a grave site may be to a home. Maybe you're an out-of-state buyer and you're really relying on your agent to help you out through the process, or maybe you are a local buyer and you've seen the property, but you just haven't quite explored the area as much as you would have liked, because the market is moving so fast and because you just needed to get your offer in super quick. But later down the line, you find out that there's a grave site 2 or 3 blocks away. Some people are into superstitions and all of these other things. Depending on how close you are to that grave site, just know that when it's time to resell again, that is something that buyers look at is, it's an eyesore for many people. And ideally, some people just get the creeps about it. The next thing you will want to consider is living next to industrial plants and manufacturing plants. Again, this is another one of those environmental things where it can produce a lot of toxins that are in the air. I know in my area, especially when I was doing real estate in Asheville, North Carolina, there was a city called Canton, and they had this huge plant that everyone in the city knew about. And if you live super, super close to this plant, it gave off this bad smell. And so it almost smelled like a sewer, just very unappealing, very uninviting. And if you cannot deal with that, maybe you're outside, you like to spend a lot of your days outside, on the porch, in the backyard, whatever that may be, that might not be the location for you. And that is another one of those things that is going to affect your property values and just like the overall resale, because you have everyone who is talking like, oh, I absolutely don't want to live there. Like, there are buyers who will say, please do not put me in Canton. Please do not put me next to this manufacturing plant, because truth be told, it just affects your overall quality of life and just your overall experience of living in that home. And if you think about when you have visitors that are not used to just that smell, it's just very... The next thing you will want to consider when you are searching for a home is looking at the type of sewer system that you have. So either your sewer system will be on a septic system, or your sewer will be ran by the city. And if you are on a sewer system, then most likely you are in a more rural area, or an area that was once rural that has become, more developed. And with septic systems, you have to make sure that you get that system pumped like every 2 to 5 years. And you're going to be on the lower end if you have like a lot of people in your household, you're constantly using that sewer system. You also want to get it inspected on a yearly basis to make sure that your system is running smoothly and properly. With the septic system, fortunately for you, you won't have a bill that comes to you every single month from the city, so that can be good. But then it probably levels out, because you do have to get those inspections and get your system pumped, every 2 to 5 years. Also, if you have a septic system and you have like a huge repair that needs to take place, those repairs can be very, very, very expensive. So definitely be putting aside money for home maintenance, not just because of a septic system, but just because you never know what could go wrong with your home in any regards. That is something that you will want to consider. Does the home have septic, or is the home on city sewer and water? Because sometimes your septic system will get backed up, and that is a very messy, stinky situation. The next thing you will want to consider when you are purchasing a home is access to internet. So in this day and time, internet is just, you gotta have it. Come on, like, you gotta have internet in this day and time. If you don't have internet, like, I don't know what you're doing. Like, you're not with the times, especially if you have a work from home job. This is going to be especially important for you. And believe it or not, if you are staying in a, once again, rural location, an area that is a little bit more remote, maybe you're in the mountains, whatever that may be, you may not have access to internet yet, or the type of providers that are out in your area may be a very slow type of internet. Maybe it's like a dial tone type of thing, or it's just slow. And so to get internet installed that is considered like a utility, it can be very, very, very expensive. It can be thousands of dollars, $10,000. Like, it can be very, very expensive for the company to come out there, run the lines, do the digging. Like, it's a lot that goes into getting internet in an area. So that is something that you want to be aware of up front prior to purchasing a home, because once you purchase that home, that is going to be your problem to deal with. And so if you know that, this particular home that you're interested in buying does not have internet, then maybe that is something that you can try to negotiate, in collaboration with your agent and the seller to have some sort of concession, some sort of monetary allowance to be given during the real estate transaction so that when you close, you can get that taken care of and get internet. You gotta have internet. And then also, unfortunately, with the multiple listing service, especially in North Carolina, while a lot of the other utilities are like listed, a lot of times internet is just one of those things that is not listed yet, but maybe it will be listed in years to come. Other thing you want to think about is pools. Does this home have a pool? If you are interested in having a pool in your backyard, kudos to you, because pools does come with a lot of maintenance. The pump motor can be broken or need repairs, and then you need to get that cleaned. And then also just like the utilities that are involved to keep that pool running and in good shape. I know a lot of people love pools, but it can also increase your monthly insurance as well, because it's sort of seen like a liability. Like, what if someone that comes over to your property kind of like falls in the water, like it's on your property? So you may be required to have additional insurance for that pool, and so that is something that you will want to think about as well. The next thing that buyers may not think about when they are purchasing a home is what type of trash service is out there. Is the trash picked up by the city? Is the trash taken to yourself as a homeowner to a landfill? Are you burning trash? Where is the closest trash dumpster? These are things you want to think about, because again, your trash service can either be ran by like the city or the county. And what are those expenses? Is it a quarterly bill of $175? Like, who are the providers that can come out to your area to get trash? Do they offer recycling? And if you want to keep a clean and tidy yard and house, you definitely don't want things to be laying around and just being filthy, and you want a nice place to come home to relax, detox without worrying about taking your trash every week. If you're anything like myself, then you have trash that accumulates very, very quickly and very, very often. And so, that could be a deal breaker for you depending on what home you are looking at and what area you are looking at. The other thing that buyers don't really think about is the landscaping of the home, in terms of, are there trees? Are there no trees? You have some people who really love sunny yards and no obstruction of trees in their way. I have other buyers who love the trees. That kind of creates that shaded backyard. But really, like, one thing I want to discuss when it comes to trees is the type of trees. Are there fruit trees? Is it like a tree full of flowers? Do the trees shed? Because that is going to play a role in how much time you are spending in your yard to do landscaping and maintenance. If you have leaves all over the place. I remember I used to stay at one home and there were like consistently always leaves. It seems like every time we raked up these leaves, they would come back the next day. It was very, very, very annoying. I personally myself don't really like a lot of trees, but there are some buyers who do. They just love, like, earthly things and being one with nature and all of that good stuff. But you guys can have it. I will take not trees, like, unless it's like back and beyond. You will find yourself doing yard maintenance every single weekend, like it will never stop. Or you will find yourself paying for someone to do yard maintenance every single weekend. So just look at all the different types of vegetation that are in your yard and what that can potentially require in terms of time and money of keeping up with that. And the very last thing that I do not think that buyers consider when they are buying home is just like the overall area of where they're living and how close they are to things that produces traffic. And what I mean by this is, are you close to concert venues? Are you close to railroad tracks that maybe stop in the morning and you're trying to rush, but they have a railroad that's coming every 30 minutes to an hour that's slowing you down? Are you close by schools where you have, many school buses in your neighborhood that's consistently like holding up traffic? Are you near a double laned yellow road? Do you stay off of the main road? Is it hard for you to get out in the mornings because cars are racing by at 45 miles per hour and you have no choice but to back up to get out of your driveway. Like little things like that really can make or break an experience. And with that double lane road, if you have kids, is that safe for your kids? Do you have a fence? Are they able to just like run out into the street? Of course you want to be watching your kids, but you know, these are all things that you want to think about. Any type of thing that just like produces traffic, are you okay with that? And so if you are, then you know, by all means, go on with your home purchase. But in all, I would say that a lot of these things your real estate agent will kind of let you know, make you aware of, especially when it comes to things like internet, trash, septic, flood zone, all of that. But then there is some things that you will want to think about yourself as a buyer when you're purchasing homes. And those things are the things like the yard maintenance, the proximity to traffic and things like that, with things that you are willing to live with. So it takes a combined effort from both your real estate agent and yourself to determine if that is the right house for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because there are mistakes that I have made with my own home purchase that I wish I just would have thought about before I purchased that home. If you found this video to be helpful, please like it, give it a thumbs up, comment some things below maybe that you can share with our community, for things that maybe you wish you would have known before you purchased your house. And I will see you guys in the next video.